Yeah.
Where do you, let me ask it this way. Where do you get your objective standard regarding things like lighting or posing or anything that, in a sense can be considered subjective to some degree?
Yeah.
But where do you draw from to say, like, this is how it should be done?
Yeah, that's a great question, because every time this topic inevitably comes up, that's kind of what a lot of people say. And it's kind of almost the discussion of, well, art is art, whatever you create. And it's kind of, which to a point, I guess I'll have a two-part answer to your question, because I think that's maybe the macro level part of that discussion.
Yeah.
When it comes in, is art? Is anything, as long as you create from your heart, is that all that matters?
Right.
So let me handle the macro, and then maybe I'll handle the micro about inspiration.
I like you going at it that way. Yeah. I like that.
So on the macro level, my whole thing with art is art. This is the analogy I always use when we have this discussion, because it's a valid discussion. I liken photography to music. They're both art forms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and even if you're not a musician per se, you played the radio, you've taken a music class in elementary school, most people are familiar with the basics of music.
Right.
So I always tell people, okay, pretend like at my imaging class, if I rolled in a piano and I rolled it to the center of the stage and I sat down, everyone got really quiet, and I lifted up the, whatever you call the thing that covers the keys. I lifted it up, I sat down, and rather than playing some amazing concerto, I began banging my fists on the keys, right? If I did that for 2 or 3 minutes, I mean, the room would clear out. Probably would never get asked to speak at PPA again.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, and people would leave, and they say, what are you doing,
Right.
So say I did that for a few minutes, and I stopped, thank God, and then everyone came back in, and I surveyed them, and I'd say, okay, guys, who thought that was music?
Yeah.
And who thought that was noise? Most people probably would say it was noise. There's always someone. There's like always one hipster person. They're like, yeah, I love that. That was amazing. Yeah, there's always one. But by and large, people would say it's noise. And why? Why would they say that? Rightfully so, because in music, in every single song from Bach to Beethoven to Taylor Swift, as complex or as simple as it gets, there's a root, there's a foundation, there's chords, there's progressions, there's a structure. So even though music is this incredible thing where we can have this unique flair and people could, do their own thing and do their own expression, there's still a basis, there's a foundation. And I think culture readily accepts that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just because that now most people say it's noise. Just like you don't pick up a guitar and just start flailing the strings and moving your fingers and random, there's structure. So it's funny that in music that's readily accepted, but in photography, you roll in the metaphoric photography piano and you metaphorically bang on the keys in the same way, and instead of people walking out, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing! You should shoot weddings for a living," and they readily accept anything. I mean, not all the time, but in general, culture has become like, yeah, photography, whatever you shoot, you shoot. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about, we can have these discussions about what grabs you and what grabs me in different lighting, but I still believe in any genre of photography, and this is why I love PPA, it's why I love image competition, because it teaches people this. There's a foundation to every great image that's been created. There are building blocks, lighting, posing, composition, the moment maybe for different, photojournalism. I mean, we can list them, but there are building blocks. Mm-hmm. So they're either there or they're not. And I see no difference between music. So it's just funny that culture accepts one and they don't accept the other. I would say they're both the same. There has to be a foundation. That's why I'm a big believer in teaching those things.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this conversation presented by White House Custom Color on YouTube. Be sure to check out our other content and click that subscribe button right there. Right. Right there. It's there somewhere.